Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to Raising Excellence, the most important hour of your week. I am Michael, the Opportunity Ambassador at MC for today's show. And today's show is called Forage Yourself to Natural Health. With me today, we've got our fabulous two co-hosts and a special guest to talk about this particular subject. Let's meet our psychosomatic illuminator, Agnieszka.
Hello, nice to be here. I brought with me my boyfriend, who is an expert in foraging and Mexican cuisine. So he'll tell us a lot about healing foods and how to avoid parasites and stuff by using simple herbs that grow on the side of the road. That's pretty cool, huh?
Cheap.
And
And
this is Erwin Diaz.
Erwin Diaz. Yes.
thank you, Erwin. And our other co-host is Dennis, our freedom facilitator. Dennis, how are you?
Greetings and blessed love. I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well. So today's topic, we're talking about kind of finding stuff that is generally pretty cheap. It's on the side of the road, or it's in garbage cans, or it's people have thrown it away, or maybe we find it on growing in our backyard. These are all kind of things that most of the commercial industry doesn't talk about, doesn't advertise, doesn't do any of that kind of stuff because it doesn't give them any money. So we never really hear about this kind of stuff. But Agnieszka, Erwin, where are we going to begin with?
I was reading this report here, 100 years of agricultural change. I mentioned this report a couple weeks ago, but then our show kind of failed about foraging. We had Julie Walker scheduled. She will be back on another episode. But this thing says, no, it's not time for epazote yet. Hang on a second. Because epazote actually is one of those crops that has been forgotten. And not just epazote, but more than 90% of crop varieties have been lost, and only 5%, I think, are cultivated around the world. So there are so many edible plants, and why don't we eat them? What is the reason? Do you guys know what the reason is why we're not eating all these edible, healthy plants? Like, okay, I'll show them. Epazote that we brought with us today from our very kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, I would think probably it's primarily because they're not commercially viable. They can't be transported, or they can't be stored effectively.
But why would you want your food to be stored? Like, say, commercially viable, that means that you pick something green, like this orange here, right? This orange has never seen a warehouse, but they would pick this orange green and they would keep it in a warehouse for 6 to 12 weeks. And then they would sell it to you as an orange, but it doesn't have the minerals and the important elements that an orange needs to have.
Well, most things that we can find in the store, they have been hybridized and highly modified, and even over generations and over decades or even hundreds of years. The fruits, for example, that we see today in the supermarket, those are not the kind of fruits, and they wouldn't even survive in nature, in the natural environment. Bugs would eat them. They wouldn't make it. Nature would sort them out because they would be too weak to to grow in nature like that. So we crossbred them, we hybridize them in order to accumulate to assimilate a certain taste, a certain shape, a certain form that became standard. And then now if the banana
Standard, what is that? Vegetables are all shapes and sizes, but yet in the store every orange is the same shape and the same size.
Yeah.
But Erwin, he grew up differently. Where did you guys go to the store when you were a child?
No, the mercado.
You didn't go to the mercado?
We gone to the mercado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about your backyard?
My backyard? I grow some avocados. I grow some of epazote.
So
Jamaica.
avocados. We have an avocado here.
Uh,
Jamaica. So that's Jamaica. That's the
Coconut.
hibiscus, dried hibiscus.
That's what I got in my backyard. Coconut, epazote, and avocado. This is the good life, the natural life.
But when I was at your land, you also had cashews and papayas
yeah.
and avocado. Yeah, avocados you said already. What else? You guys grow a
Papaya.
lot of things in
Oh,
your
we got
yard.
a jackfruit. I don't know if you know that jackfruit. It's a big
Jackfruit,
fruit. Yeah,
jackfruit.
you got it. Yeah, jackfruit.
Yeah,
The big fruit it is.
very
Yeah.
nice. Even the
Yeah.
seeds, it has some big seeds. You can even cook the seeds and make flour from it as well. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. We got a lot of stuff we can survive here in Acapulco. You know, we got life, natural life. Yeah.
And the coconuts just grow. Do you have to like fertilize them or do they
No,
just
no, they grow up. We don't have just then we need water and salt, water and salt. No, no, nothing else.
so
No.
you mean like so?
Yeah.
So like sun, the
The
sun.
sun. It's only water and sun. Yeah. This is natural cocoa. It's no spray inside, no nothing. You know.
And
Mm.
it grew in our yard here. And yeah, he paid 50 pesos to some guy to take out a whole bunch of cocos. So then we had a bunch of cocos in our front yard.
Well, what
So-
one of the problems that a lot of people are facing is the fact that with the economic situation the way it is, a lot of people are losing their jobs and so forth. They don't know
Yeah.
how to they don't know how to feed themselves. They don't know how to take care of themselves other than to go to the doctor and get prescriptions or go to the
Yeah,
grocery
yeah.
store and get food. That's the only place they know
Yeah.
where food exists. But that's one of the things that I think is a beautiful thing about Acapulco in particular is, food
Yeah.
falls out of the sky in Acapulco, and
Yeah.
medicine grows on the side of the road in Acapulco.
yeah.
It's medicine. You know, all this stuff is medicine, bro. You kill the parasite. If you make a tea in the morning, you drink the tea in the morning, you're gonna kill all the parasite. You're gonna clean your body with this.
So that's the epazote.
Epazote.
And so what is it like? Then you just eliminate the parasite out of your
Hell
body?
yeah.
And what
They
about the
kill.
coconuts?
They kill the parasite too, but the dry coconut, you have to drink the old ones. You just have to pick one in the morning for 3 times in the weekend. But the old ones, the really dry coconuts, you drink in the morning and take a couple hours.
So is that coconut milk in the old ones, or is
Oh,
it still
yeah,
coconut water?
yeah. They still coconut water.
Yeah, essentially like coconut water is distilled. It's distilled water. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a plant basically taking all the negative things out of the water and essentially leaving you with
Yeah,
nutrients, right?
I don't understand why. I don't understand why the people, the human, they like to go to the Walmart and buy stuff inside in the Walmart. And we got here this free in the street. We can have it for free. I don't know understand the human. They like to go buy some stuff and the grocery. I know. You
What
can
does
grow
what
your
does a
own.
real human do?
The real humans. The real human eat this. They know eat from the Walmart, from the Chedraui, from I don't know the grocery. Yeah, this is the real life, the real food for your
Yeah.
body, for my body. Yeah, because I own the stuff. I can make a soup fish with these two fish. I can make a soup. I can make enchiladas. I can make a lot of stuff with this stuff. Yeah, that's magic. That's magic. It's food, real food. Yeah.
It seems it
Bye-bye.
seems
Yeah, which
it seems
Go
that with
The
an
more,
ever with an ever increasing
this is the
percentage
more.
of people that live in an urban environment, and the powers that feel they be, but they ought not to be, are certainly trying to push people off the land, to denaturalize our lifestyles, and to crowd us into huge urban centers. And I feel that that's probably something that is going to be increasing even as we're speaking right now. So that means also much we're much further away from nature itself. We don't have no connection. We don't see, we don't feel, we don't taste the plants, the natural world, and we're further and further away from that, and we lose connection to nature. And as we are part of nature, we therefore we lose connection to to who we are as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And through food,
But that's why
it is
it's
a way of
important.
reconnecting, right, with who we truly are.
That's why it's important to go to the farmers market to support the farmers, the real people who are growing the real food, not, you know, the old weeks in storage food from Walmart or any large
Really all
chain,
food.
Jean, or any one of those big grocery stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus, I mean, the way that the supermarket operates, the way that they transport food and stuff like that, the
Exactly.
vast majority of the fruit and vegetables that are grown for things like the supermarket and stuff like that are lost along the way. You know, if they get a load of lettuce into Walmart and there's a couple rotten head, they might just reject that whole truckload of lettuce and then just take it to the dump and dump it. So it's an incredibly inefficient system too, when it comes to the like how much food is wasted because of the way that the system works. Unfortunately, most people don't know anything about that. They're just, you know, when they see a tomato, they think it's always a particular size and it's perfectly round and it's nice and red. They don't know anything else. If they saw a green tomato, they may not even know what that is, because they don't know anything.
Different size lines from the Avocado. Look, these ones are all different sizes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's really an important point that you made there, Mike. And I not too long ago I came across this movement called food sharing, and became part of that locally here. And I learned that it seems that the most accurate estimate is actually that up to 1/3 of all the food that is being harvested ends up, like you said, back in the waste, in the dump. And that is, there's a loss,
And there are starving people in the
right?
world.
Right, when you harvest, there's loss because the bananas are I don't know, too bendy, or they're not big enough, or the shape is not the desired one, so that goes right away. And then there's a loss on the while in transit, basically. Then there's a loss because it rots away or it gets destroyed in the supermarket shelf. And then there's a loss also because people buy stuff and then they only eat, they don't eat all of what they buy usually, and then it goes to the waste there. And then in the end, you end up with 1/3 of all the produce, or with all the food stuff being wasted. And there's this international food sharing initiative where we actually we initiate contact with large chain stores and with smaller stores, and we take the food that they otherwise would just dump, and basically redistribute it among people, like you and me, who will then eat what the leftovers. And I'm so astonished, like, how much of the stuff that they would throw away is perfectly good. It's perfectly good. Sometimes it's like a lettuce head and there's like two brown leaves on it, and you take them away and you wash it. It's just perfect. And we even, have established relationships like locally here with organic food stores. So we're getting, almost perfectly fine organic food. And, if it's not fine, the stuff that's not good, then you can still, it goes to your compost heap, or you feed animals with it. And it's amazing, like the kind of abundance that is there, and the value in food that you can get from what they would otherwise throw away. It's astonishing.
Yeah.
Well, I was just watching a video about how much food is produced, and currently the amount of corn that's produced in the world today is a metric ton of corn per person for the entire, if there are 7 billion people on the planet, then
Wow.
there's a metric ton of corn produced for each one of those people. So we've got a plentiful planet, and it's really, honestly, like the corn industry is subsidized by government because it is one of those foodstuffs that they can put into everything. And pretty much if you're eating a hamburger, or you're eating practically anything else, chicken, most of it is because of corn. So like you're like if you're an American or a Westerner, for the most part, your diet is corn. And there's just so much more diversity than just one particular plant. But because that particular commodity is something that they can profit from and store and process, turn into 15,000 different products, you get all this stuff, just like the oil business, plastics and everything else. But, here again is like what they're telling us as far as, like what's edible, what fixes your problems, et cetera, et cetera. Most people are, just unaware
So,
that
This
all this stuff
report,
is around them.
oh,
so
sorry. Yeah, this report that I was looking at. Oh, go ahead, Dennis. I can read the report in a minute.
sure, I was just pointing out. So, besides the compromised health that we have and that we all experience to a certain degree, I would argue we have a compromised economic situation. Whereas, the economic inequality is not only within the community, within a nation or a country, but it's also internationally, where you see that a certain part of the world, certain countries are being exploited, to the very core. Of their resources and of their natural abundance in order to feed people across the planet, who live in total abundance and who can afford to throw away a third of the food that is being produced. And yet, as Aaron was pointing out earlier, and showing the simplicity of the solution that is really there. And the solution grows as something most people call weeds, that grow right outside our yard. And it's astonishing how simple the
Most of
solutions
them
can be
completely
to
edible.
complex problems. Mhm.
Most of the weeds completely edible. Most of them are just good for you. So the report, since the 1900s, 75% of plant genetic diversity has been lost, as farmers worldwide have left the multiple local varieties for, what does it say? High uniform and high yielding varieties. And then 30% of livestock breeds are at risk of extinction. Today, 75% of the world's food is generated from 12 plants and 5 animal species.
Yeah.
And epazote is not one of them.
So what is the source? What is the source? Where do those problems stem from? I would argue that if not one of the few core things that are going wrong and that cause this is greed. Because it's greed,
And also
out of
says,
greed
sorry,
and mhm.
it also says 300,000 edible plant species in the world. 300,000.
That one.
And we
You
eat
said 12?
We eat
12?
12.
We basically eat the 12.
No, yeah, 12 plants, yes.
Oh, no.
75% of the food that we eat is from 12 plants, but there are 300,000 plants. And I bet you some North Americans, some like Americans or Canadians and Australians maybe, they probably will never eat the plants that are not part of that 12. Even British people,
Yeah. Yeah, they like British, for example, they know what bananas are. They have bananas in their supermarket, but there's no bananas growing in Great Britain.
That's true.
Yes.
But there's lots of stuff that grows in Great Britain, like purslane and other plants that are very edible and very good for you, and you can make great salads and that nobody ever picks.
Mm.
Yeah.
Even during, the winter season.
Yeah, and bananas are kind of an interesting kind of example of what you're talking about, Dennis, with the source of the problem. United Fruit Company is kind of been a scourge of Latin America for about 100 years because they basically subjected the population to, colonization, because the fruit companies own the radio stations, they own the rail networks and transportation hubs and all the ports and basically all the politicians. And, they did that all because, bananas and pineapples and the things that, cacao, but chocolate that, the big industries thrive on are essentially part of that, how they make their money. They've made billions and probably trillions of dollars at this point on exploiting those particular plants. And in so doing, they've standardized people's understanding and demand for those particular products. And to some degree, nobody knows anything else, and it's unfortunate, but that, I mean, that problem, what that has done for the populations of places like Guatemala and Colombia and probably just about every Latin American country is, there's tyranny because of that level of control and, monopolization of that industry.
So it's not
Yeah.
only exploiting the plants, but it's also exploiting the people, right? So if you look at the conditions, the wear conditions, or the lack thereof, the pesticides that are being used. So it's raping nature, it's raping humanity, just to to feed and to create a demand for something that wasn't even there in the first place, and then also to feed that greed, and greed is something that definitely rides that, the greed of those wanting to exploit and wanting to take more and more without giving back, which by the way is one of the permaculture core values, of giving back, of returning to nature, returning the surplus that you make. So that is lacking in our so-called developed modern
Well, if we
industry.
put them in the landfills
agriculture.
instead of back in the forest, those lettuces would be better served, put it back in the field to rot in the field, not put in the landfill. That's ridiculous. Sorry, I get passionate.
Yeah,
We
it's-
met this other interesting person at Agorapulco, and his name is Chris Manley, and I was talking to him about being a guest one of the weeks here. But he believes that food altogether is an addiction and you don't need to eat at all.
Yeah.
He said that.
Yeah, I see him.
He
don't
seems
eat.
very healthy.
And he looking nice. He look strong. That's what he said.
Well, so we talked a little bit about the problem. We talked about the source of the problem. Let's talk about the solution. So
I
we've
think
got a
this
couple
special
different
guest
examples.
turn.
We've got some examples of some food and
I-
some medicine. Go ahead.
I wanted to add just one more aspect, which I think would be interesting to look at as well, and think about the solution later, because I feel also that there's, so ignorance is playing into that as well, being ignorant of what is there, what is around us, and other ways and other solutions to the problem. So, you have to look for the solution. You have to see the problem first and then recognize, oh, that's actually a problem. If you're ignorant of the fact that, the planet Earth, the people are
Yeah.
being exploited because you live the way that you live, then it's difficult to start seeing or start even looking for a solution. And then also I wanted to hint at the loss of knowledge and loss of tradition that also goes in line with that, because the so-called modern food, there's no connection, just like Agnieszka was mentioning bananas in England. I'm not taking away bananas from English people or for Germans, but there's a certain tradition when it comes to food. So the food that naturally grows at in the place where you live. So there's tradition because people before you and many generations before you, they cultivated that, and they taught themselves how to plant it and how to get it out of the soil and how to create a balance and some way of some interaction with the soil that you live from. And that is being broken, by introducing artificial foods, by introducing, some Frankenstein GMO, we haven't touched on that, foods, and by foods that are like highly manufactured as well. And so you break tradition, and you break traditional knowledge as well of how to prepare food in a way that it can be assimilated by the body the proper way, and that it can actually be nutritious and be of value as it's supposed to be.
So let's go to the solution. Let's talk about some of the plants that you've got and how they're, what kind of things can they take care of.
Starting with epazote.
This is the first, the pasote. Yeah.
And you can essentially find that on the side of the road.
Yeah,
In Acapulco.
anywhere,
This is the-
anywhere in Acapulco in the state, any in the state,
Of Guerrero.
all over Guerrero, you can find this in the street.
And this is something you can use that you can eat, but it's also got medicinal value.
You can eat if you want, bro, like that. It's for your body, you know. They're gonna kill
So
your
does it taste
stomach.
like good salad or what? Let me see.
It's like a salad. They're gonna kill your parasite. I'm telling you. And you can make it soup.
It's like a strong tasting one, like not bitter, but kind of taste, that kind of reminds me of arugula. But if it was cut up with like spinach and other mild tasting greens, it would make a good salad.
Mhm.
So what else?
We got the lemon, man. We don't need to go to the pharmacy to buy alcohol for when you cut your finger or something, you scratch your skin or something. You don't have to buy alcohol. Lemon. This is
Yeah,
lemon. They clean you disinfection your body.
So you brush your teeth with it as
I
well.
brush my teeth. I put in a, you know, I use it like
Armpits?
desodorante. Lemon. I recommend you this. Yeah.
Oh, we do have a
What else do
question
you
actually from our audience. Summer Winter is asking, how do you spell that? The plant's name. I think.
epazote?
Epazote.
T-E.
Epazote.
Yeah, S-O-T-E.
Oh, yeah. Let me see that. Epazote.
I'm gonna read it to you guys.
Yeah, T-E.
So it's E-P-A-S-O-T-E. E-P-A-S-O-T-E. Epazote. I'm sure that's the Spanish name for it. So we would have to look up the English name. But it does seem to be very common. So epazote, what is it good for? You said parasites, and you said what else? Blood pressure?
Yeah,
So how do you take it for blood pressure?
drink it. Make it
Just
tea.
the tea?
Yeah.
And when the tea, do you boil the epazote
Yeah.
or do you just pour hot water over it?
No, put the hot water and wait. With, you know, like burn.
You boil it in the
Yeah,
water for a bit?
Yeah.
Just
It's
like
gonna be green.
Now there's a
green.
there's a story that I know that you know when the British and the French first colonized like the American you know the North America, they were holed up in a fort, and essentially they were dying from starvation and stuff because they were afraid the Indians were going to kill them and stuff if they went outside the fort. But they got so hungry and they were suffering from what's the thing when you don't get enough vitamin C? Scurvy. They were suffering from scurvy, and so finally the Indians they just the Indians just came in the fort because the people were so weak, and they just boiled some pine, I think it was pine cones or pine needles, and made some tea out of them, and that was what cured them of the scurvy. It was vitamin C. So I imagine there's probably vitamin C in those.
Pine is acidic, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. There's lots of things that have vitamin C in them.
Oh yeah.
A lot of minerals, and lemon is not the best for vitamin C either. There are many other like rose hips. Rose hips have a lot of vitamin C. The fruit of the rose. What else? The coconut. What do you want to tell us about the coconut?
It's traditional coconut here in Acapulco. I can make a candy. I can make a fishing coconut, sharing coconut.
Fishing with coconut?
Yeah.
Like you put the coconut in the thing and take up and it's full of fish?
Yeah. We can make a lot of stuff with this. We can make atole. Mike, you never try atole?
Atole is a dessert.
The dessert,
Mexican dessert.
You have to come to the Casa Rustica, man. I got some atole for you. Yeah. I got atole de mango and atole de plátano.
Which is banana.
Nice.
Banana, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely have to try that.
Yeah, I grow in my people. This is the economy for my people too. We can send to United States, to Alemania,
Germany.
Well,
that's where Dennis is, in Germany.
Yeah, we can send coconut over there,
You can make oil from
This
it.
is good.
Yeah, his family
Coconut.
makes oil from the coconut.
Oh yeah, I got coconut oil too.
And do you have a press for the coconut
Yeah,
oil?
yeah.
So you take the coconut flesh out and then you squish it.
I'm gonna make you one video. I'm gonna make it oil with the coconuts, and I'm gonna send to you, Mike, to see how we make a natural coconut here.
We're just
You
gonna
too,
post
Danny?
it on the Raising Excellence website or channel maybe. but,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And what about this stuff? This stuff is good for stuff too, right?
Oh, I don't know why the people from Spain they take this stuff. I don't know for what. I got a company in my town and they buy this stuff. I don't know for what. Well, why the Spain people they want this stuff?
You can make stuff
don't
out
know.
of it. You
The
can
fiber.
make like little baskets out of it, or you can make, you can burn it. You can do lots of stuff with
Yeah,
it.
some people use it, they dry it and they compress it and they sell it as little bricks and you
Oh,
can add water to them and it becomes an aggregate like for soil that you can add to soil or you can grow stuff on. And some also they make how you call it, like fire starters with it. You know, so like to start a chimney or so, you have these little small cubes and then you light them and it will start
Kindling.
the fire. Kindle. Yeah, I saw that.
wow. Interesting. Huh? I see. Yeah.
So what else did you
Yeah,
learn?
well, that fibrous material could be a lot of things. You know, that's kind of what hemp is too. You know how
Yeah.
hemp is used in like
Right.
fiberglass and stuff.
Yeah, like tomorrow we're gonna eat beans, frijoles de la olla. It's natural beans, soup beans, black beans. This is good. It's very good.
Oh,
I'm by you, Mike. If you wanna come down tomorrow.
Tell them how you make coffee.
Oh, the
Coffee de la olla. It's a traditional Mexican healing coffee that heals like your stomach problems, and it's antibacterial, antiviral, and they drink it every single morning. So how do you make it?
Oh yeah, just coffee from my town. Coffee, good coffee.
Big
Big pot. I put in a big pot.
pot.
I put some cinnamon. I put vanilla.
Vanilla is a type of sugar.
You know para panela?
Vanilla is a type of sugar that has vitamin B and many minerals in it because it's like the side product of making sugar from cane. It's like
Yeah.
the
You mean,
cane molasses.
you mean molasses, yeah, or blackstrap molasses. That's in Jamaica.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
prevalent
It's
as
from
well.
the cane.
Colleen
They will
was adding that they used back in Jamaica they used to use the fiber of the coconut to shine the floor. You know, after wiping the floor, they would use it to scrub the shoe and shine it. So she has been commenting together with Summer and exchanging
Who said that? Oh,
experience.
Colleen said that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Cafe de Olla, he literally takes this huge pot, fills it with water, and then dumps like a package of coffee in it, and a package of cinnamon, and like a whole big vanilla cone. And what else do you put in there? Sometimes ginger,
ginger.
sometimes garlic even. And then this cooks and simmers on the stove, and it's hot all day, so you can drink coffee all day long. And in Mexican families, they drink coffee all day long. They don't just drink coffee at the beginning of the day.
Oh, every day, all day, anytime. Yeah. Yeah, my Casa Rustica is open, Mike. If you wanna come and drink coffee, I invite you. You too.
You're inviting the whole
Danny.
internet.
We got a commercial. We got a commercial going on for Cafe Rustica.
Nice.
All right, let's
Sure.
talk about some of these other things that you foraged out of the nature in Acapulco. Because like, you know, so we got lemons, we got coconuts, we got
Jamaica.
other
This,
stuff.
I,
I can't remember.
I make juice with it.
Hibiscus.
I love it.
So how do you make juice out of the hibiscus flowers? You just boil them in the water,
Yeah.
and then you add some panela to it, so it has
Panela.
vitamin B. And then
I don't like to put sugar, man. I like it better like this, but no sugar, but
No
no
panela?
panela. It's more better for your body. You put the Jamaica in your body clean, but no sugar, no cayenne. Yeah, you can eat it.
Now you stopped yourself from talking for the next 2 seconds, 10 seconds. Okay, so limon, we already talked about limon. We use for brushing teeth. What else? deodorant, but for food, it preserves food, it cooks fish,
For the soup.
right? When you don't have this, when you run out of stove gas, like we did the other day, this limon can cook a fish for you. What else? Oh, you got an orange. What about an orange? What's the healing properties of an orange?
Mm.
This guy at the market told me that the more brown the orange on the outside, the sweeter it is. So
Yeah.
all the pale oranges, the standard oranges that we get in the States, they're the worst oranges because it's supposed to be kind of like brown, but much more brown than this. I didn't actually pick a brown one for you guys, but yeah, lots of spotting.
We
So
talked
what orange?
we talked about
Sorry?
the natural aids for cleaning. So the orange peel the is great to make that, you know, natural products that we had an entire show dedicated to a few months ago, I believe. And then for lime,
Just
the
mix it
bark.
with vinegar and
Yeah.
leave it for 3 weeks. Orange peel, mix with vinegars, leave it for 3 weeks. It becomes a floor cleaner.
Mhm. And we
Go ahead.
and the peel of the lime peel also can be used in your toothpaste or in your natural toothpaste. You can scrub your teeth with it for whitening. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. It's organic.
And aquacate.
Oh yeah. This is my favorite fruit. Avocados. I have it in the in the backyard in my home. The home guy. I have like 7 tree avocados. Maybe maybe 2 months, I'm gonna have avocados too. Big avocados. That one is the small one. I got it like this.
So is there a season for avocados in
Yep.
Pueblo?
No, I think your mom said August.
August. Yeah, August is gonna happen. Yeah, August. Now this is not local avocado. I'm gonna show you the local avocados.
We'll,
Small,
we'll
big,
do
and
a
big.
repeat in August of this show.
Yeah, yeah.
We can do
And
it in
yeah.
the village and film.
Yeah. Oh, nice. We can make a video downstairs. Mm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel much better since eating this way. And, you know, people are saying to me that I look more radiant and stuff, but I think it's just from having so many fresh fruits and vegetables and not eating the sugar and the junk food that I was presented
No.
with in Canada.
It's crazy.
Well, Mexico, as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
is supposedly one of the most obese countries in the world because
Most what?
Most countries.
Mexico.
Most
And
what?
I think it's probably because like most of the Mexicans live in metropolitan areas and they eat a lot of sugary and processed foods.
Mhm.
But there's no country that drinks more soda
In
than
Mexico.
Mexico
Yeah, yeah.
per capita.
Isn't it weird? But they have all these fresh fruits and vegetables and they're killing themselves with sugar. It's so
Yeah.
sad.
I don't know why the people drink a lot of soda. You know, we can make it juice orange, lemon orange, with Jamaica orange or juice orange. I don't know. They don't make me say why the people buy soda. What the fuck? Buy soda?
The
Drink the
real
soda.
human does not bite.
No,
soda.
no.
What is that? What is the red stuff? The red drink?
Hibiscus.
Hibiscus, it's Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Is it the red?
It's spelled like Jamaica in
Jamaica in
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah, I
Jamaica.
Yeah.
think the name is
Jamaica.
Flor de Jamaica or Flower of Jamaica.
Flower. Yeah.
Colleen
Yeah.
was just commenting about that as well and sharing that, you know, that's a famous Jamaican drink during Christmas time is being brewed from that, and juice is being made with that. It has a lot of antioxidants. It has a very nice stringy taste. You can use it to make teas. We have it here as well. So you know, people they dry the flowers and then you can make teas with that. You can make jams and sauces with it as well. Colleen sharing here, and she's using it in dried and ground up form for hair care. It's using it here
For hair care.
Mhm.
To make it like more black or what?
Yeah.
Could I put it on my hair, Colleen? Would it make it black? Because then I could be a real Mexicana.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I'm interested in finding out more about the Jamaica because it's interesting because I didn't like hibiscus in Canada. All those celestial seasonings teas and stuff when you make the hibiscus tea and it's so sour and like off-putting. But here when they make it, it tastes totally different. It's like fresh and vibrant. I don't know. It tastes totally good. So I take back all the times I said I did not like hibiscus, because this is even good, like just to eat like chips, you know, a little sour, but interesting.
So
So, Dennis, what do you guys forage in Germany? Like, we've been talking about Mexico a lot, and that's because our special guest is from Mexico and is very knowledgeable with this stuff. But I mean, this is not just for Mexico. This is for all these other countries, right?
yeah,
Like,
so there's some plants that are almost universal, like that will grow from the tropics, even in our like more northern zones. You have dandelion, for example, and almost everybody knows that. That has
dandelion,
some,
very healthy.
yeah,
Who's the
amazing
person who
qualities.
figured out that if you pull dandelion out of the ground, take its roots and roast them in the fire, that's something that's really good for you? Like, what kind of brain process goes through that? Going to the dandelion, pulling it out and roasting the roots to make tea out of it. Like, that's a genius, you know? That's like 5 steps away from what I would think of, you know? I would eat it raw, but roasting the roots, anyway,
I have
off my.
this very nice book. I'm gonna show you here, Healing Herbs of Jamaica, and
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
there's a nice lady. I met her once, and she's teaching as well, and she's remembering basically the traditional knowledge, which is has been very strong in Jamaica. And there's many, as I suppose in Mexico as well. There's many, as we are sharing right now, many strong herbs, especially that can be used in so many ways. And there have been techniques of, filling bathtubs with it, and soaking in tinctures, and like all kind of things. And she just like flying over it, she's sharing the on dandelion. It has been used traditionally for children, young children, especially when they wet their beds, or like with urinary tract infections, and then also for cleanses like cleaning the bladder. So yeah, so there's much knowledge that thankfully today we not only we don't depend on knowing somebody who personally knows it, but we can grab books, we can go to the local library, we can go watch videos online, and really in with very little effort accumulate like a rich knowledge, and just basically reconnect with nature, reconnect with solutions that are there prevalent all around us, really, if we have eyes to see.
Mhm.
Nettles would be something else. You ask about what we can, harvest here, what we can find here in Abuja. Nettles, very common as well, that can be used, that have many
Oh, important.
applications. Yeah, even like for teas as well, can be dried.
For lungs, for allergies, for lungs, for asthma,
Yeah.
Chamomile,
antiviral.
yeah. Chamomile traditionally grows here in Germany as well, famous as tea for infections as well, and yeah, it can be used. There's tinctures. There's it's dried. I think there's even a form called German chamomile, and you can see it here, like flowering the small little plants. If you go, then we have something.
The German chamomile is the tall, skinny one. The Roman chamomile is the one that goes on the ground, I think,
Mhm.
or vice versa. But I'm
There's
pretty sure.
there's some form. I will have to look up the English name. It's called Bärlauch in German. Beer leek would be the exact translation, but it surely has a different name for Germany. And it grows on the forest ground. It covers the ground basically. It has a taste that reminds you of garlic strongly. It tastes very good. It's very healthy as well. So yeah, there's quite a few things. And then, like I mentioned in the teaser on Monday, like it was a real eye opener for me to actually connect with a local lady that has a tea store here, in the herb store, and she does tours. So I really want to encourage people, to find local people, or to maybe talk to some of the elders around you, and see who still has retained some knowledge. Look if is there like a herb store, is there like a tea store, and people will be knowledgeable there, and they can point you out, or maybe go look, take a walk in the forest and go over the hills over there and look what you can see, or sometimes there's also tours being offered, like the one I took part in sometime last year, and that was really nice to see how she offers that to children. So it was actually the kindergarten my daughter attended, and so she offered a tour, and we toured the forest, and it was really amazing to see how she made that connection, and how she connected children and the parents as well to the bushes. Before it was only bush and forest, and then after it was like, oh wow, this plant is called so and so, and it can be used for XYZ, and this plant can be used for this and that. And yeah, although I wasn't able to retain all of that knowledge, but just to perceive what the abundance that is there, and to see that it was there before, but I wasn't able to recognize it, to see it to that degree, and that is encouraging, because it means that solutions are out there for the problems that we face. And sometimes if we look at things and we see, oh, it's that seems like I don't know how to overcome this obstacle, I don't know how to go past that. And oftentimes it seems that the solutions to complex problems are amazingly simple and are right in front of our eyes, and we just haven't been able to see um, them and to recognize them.
So amazing that your children went on this tour, because a lot of children, we were talking about this the other day, a lot of children these days can't even recognize zucchini and cabbage and potatoes, right? They think it comes from a package with writing on it, they can't recognize the actual fruit. And there's your children who are going to the forest and recognizing plants. You want to talk about Jamaica more?
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to the question you asked Colleen about the hair, right? Using it for your hair. She answered, not for color, Agni. It's Ayurvedic, providing nutrients to strengthen the hair strands. I use it with other herbs, essential oils, and aloe vera as a deep conditioner treatment. And aloe
So
vera.
would you color my hair black or red?
I will wait for the comment and let you know. But
then give me the recipe, I'll make it and put it on my hair.
Do you know how they call aloe vera in Jamaica? Aloe vera, very strong plant as well. Single Bible. Single Bible is the Jamaican name for that. A Bible because it's single Bible, because that one little plant of aloe vera, it becomes like the Bible, something that you can draw so much from, and you get so many uses out of it. Yeah, almost endless uses for all kind of, from skin treatment, and most people will probably know it for treating sunburns, and up to lung conditions, and yeah, like a wide array of applications for single Bible or aloe vera alone. But sorry, I cut you off already.
No.
I was just going to say, certainly aloe vera is one of those things that you will find a lot of plants in Acapulco.
Aloe vera?
Oh,
aloe vera.
I've got it growing all over the house.
Everywhere you can find here in Acapulco. Any house, everybody have a
aloe vera.
Aloe vera.
I'm reading here, aloe vera gel can be mixed with arrowroot, honey, cinnamon, and nutmeg to make a tonic for people that suffer from asthma, arthritis, and lung or stomach problems.
Sounds like a dessert.
You have some Rastaman on the roadside in Kingston that will sell the juice as well, made with a gel, aloe vera juice.
My friend Patrick, he used it for the hair in his body. Every day. He got the little lip, and he's putting inside the hair every day.
And he's got very nice skin.
Yeah. That's good.
Doesn't Patrick have very nice skin, Michael?
I'm sorry, who?
Patrick.
I don't know if I've examined his skin at any. But I'll take your word for it.
So what other solutions are we going to present to these people today? And thank you, Colleen, for your comments. That's wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Well, I think the main thing is just that we do have. I mean, it's very evident. I think that's one of the things that draws my attention to Acapulco is this idea of abundance. Abundance is all around us, and like you said, we've got 12 plants that
but I think
common food industry uses, whereas there's actually 300,000 plus plants that actually provide food and nutrients. And the fact that most people don't know about them, it is something that that we should be doing.
But even
maybe this is one of the things that
if the children can't even recognize the 12 plants, what hope is there that they're going to recognize the rest of them? Like, that's just so sad.
Yeah, maybe that's one of the things that we need to introduce to people when they come down to Acapulco is the different kinds of fruits, because I tell you, I have been introduced to probably 50 new foods since I've been in Acapulco, different things, and some of the sweetest things I've ever tasted. Even the honey here tastes sweeter than I've ever tasted honey tasting in Acapulco. So I mean, there's just a ton of things that because they're not commercially viable, most people aren't aware of them. But these are some of the most unique tasting plants and vegetation that I've ever tasted.
There we have a solution from Colleen, Susan Agnieszka. For color, you could use pure henna with indigo. Henna would make the hair reddish, but with indigo it gives a dark, almost black color. So there you have your
I was just
project.
joking.
But I think
I wouldn't mind the recipe for the deep conditioning treatment. I find that as I go into the ocean more often, my hair needs more coconut oil and stuff. Even though I used to think that my hair can't handle coconut oil, now it can.
I think one aspect we haven't touched upon is that if you forage, at least partially, what you eat from your environment, that connection that I mentioned earlier is on different levels, right? It is, if you get part of what you eat from your environment, then wouldn't you take care differently of the place that you live in? And because tomorrow I might be picking a plant from this lot or from this mountainside, so maybe let me not dump my garbage there, or maybe let me advise somebody else to take better care, or not to do his oil change where I put my plants. And so there's a whole relationship that comes into play where you recognize that the food that you eat and that which sustains your physicality, the physical being that we are as well, has a close relationship with the earth and with our environment that we're in. And I think that is really essential to recognize and to teach children and adults as well, that the food doesn't come, it doesn't grow in the supermarket. Water doesn't come, it doesn't come, it's not you turning on a pipe that makes water, basically. It comes from somewhere. And if we do certain things, we can protect the source, and we can be a blessing to our environment. We can be a blessing to this planet. And it has been a great it has been part of the agenda, I would argue, to make us feel that we are somewhat of a pest or a virus. That's a big word at times, to the planet,
Self-hatred
that
of the
humanity
human.
itself is
That's not how
deteriorating.
to be a real human.
In many ways, we can see that, and we can argue for that. But also the potential of being a blessing, and of being someone that actually enhances and enriches nature that we are part of, really, that is there. And what we're discussing today about foraging, reconnecting with nature, that's growth for each and everyone. We can grow the environment, we can grow nature around us. We can grow stronger, more resilient beings, more healthier. We can be more productive if you feed yourself with a high quality food, with that you pick in the wilderness, that has not been sprayed, that has not been grown with artificial light and with artificial fertilizers, whatever it is. Then you'll feel different. You interact with your environment differently. You vibe at a higher level, and that itself will take care of other processes again, that then will help and aid in healing yourself and the world that we live in.
Yeah, so the other thing that I wanted to touch upon is the nutritional value of, we have those studies, and we talked about this before in the show, how an apple used to have so much nutrition in it, but now it has so much less, and you're eating 5 apples to get the nutrition that you'd normally get from one apple 100 years ago, right? And so those 12 plants that we eat over and over and commercially farm over and over and over are becoming less and less nutritious.
Certainly when they use petroleum products for fertilizer, that doesn't help.
Or Monsanto stuff, yeah.
All right, well, I wanted to close the show because I think we're getting pretty close, but does anybody have any final comments, any thoughts about what was most valuable out of the show?
Final comments, Mr. Special Guest?
Uh,
I think we're definitely going to have to create another kind of tourism piece to the Acapulco puzzle, which is like a food exploration of Acapulco,
yeah,
of
yeah,
all these
yeah.
interesting
Hopefully.
and unique fruits and vegetables that are here in
Yeah,
Acapulco.
very nice.
Yeah,
and
I got correct.
exploring the diversity that that every that each location, each spot on this earth really offers us, right? So
Yeah.
now if we travel, we go to the same big supermarket chain and we find almost exactly the same kind of food and the same flavors and the same everything, wherever we go. So there's no real difference. So why would we travel? And it seems it's not only we're talking about food and foraging today, but it seems that it's kind of a homogenized world that we're drifting into, in terms of the food, in terms of behaviors, in terms of fashion, how people walk and talk and think. It's becoming all like one, all the same. And
Homogeny.
yeah,
It's homogeny.
homogeny. There we go. So how can we break that? Because the natural diversity is there, and stable systems, the most diverse systems in nature
Yeah.
are diverse systems that have variety. It's not like a monoculture, but it's like
But
a
this is
variety
why
of
we're
plants.
diversifying. This is why we're diversifying humanity. This is why we're stepping in our little groups, saying no to the system and saying yes to the real human.
Yeah, the real life.
Thank you so much, Summer, for your comment. She's saying, this is an awesome show. Look forward to the next show. Field trips, let's forge and learn for life. Very much so. Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much for chiming in and for commenting
Check out some other
so
episodes from
lively.
before. We've had some cool ones and some not so cool ones, but some of the cool ones are cool.
But I really
All right, so
appreciate people taking their time and coming on and typing and giving feedback and adding to the show, because that's really what it's all about. It's not just we among ourselves, but this is an effort that we're making to connect with you, and if it's valuable to you, then that's something very rewarding, at least for myself.
Simple, practical solutions that you can apply right away to make your life better today.
Yeah.
I just made that shit up.
So next week we're going to have the breatharian on. We're gonna talk about
He's traveling next week. I think he said he would likely be available on Wednesday, but I have to double check with him because he's flying home next week, I believe. But yes, the gentleman who does not eat for 9 days at a time and then eats some fruits and
No,
fruits.
you don't need no.
Every 9 days, he eats a few fruits,
Oh.
like an avocado and an orange or something.
And he's happy. He's fine. He's has to eat crap food from the store. He's I don't know.
There's freedom right there, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
so there's freedom knowing that, oh, I don't have to eat meat necessarily. I don't
Oh,
have to eat processed food. Oh, I don't have to
no.
eat at all for the entire day, for 2 days, for 3 days. So then you add choices to your life. Like before that, you think, oh my God, if I miss out on lunch, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna starve. But then you do a little fasting, a little experience, and wow, I can have the choice not to eat because I know I will survive that. Or I can do 3 days without eating. So it's like, if there's only crap around you, you can say, no, I can survive without that. And that adds freedom to your life, freedom of choice.
Since I started fasting, I mean, I fasted for health because I didn't know what was wrong with me when I was allergic to meat at the beginning. But when it's really easy for me to go to a place and say, oh, I'm probably allergic to most of the food here. I'm just not going to eat, and I just don't eat. You know what I mean? But it is true the first couple days of fasting, you do get a little cranky and a little reactive. But then after the first 48 hours pass, fasting becomes super easy, just as long as you don't consume too many carbohydrates or sugars, through juicing or whatever. Just drink juices that are less sweet, more on the not sweet side, and you can really fast for easily.
Yeah.
most of the processed food, most of the food that people eat these days in the modern world is actually creating hunger because it goes through like a blood sugar cycle,
Yeah.
and essentially you get a deprivation of blood sugar, or an increase in insulin that then turns into hunger. And so to a
Mhm.
large degree, I think a lot of the, why people eat more calories these days is just because they're eating processed foods or eating a lot of sugars that is kind of stimulating that kind of bodily process that makes them feel like they're hungry all the time or a great deal of the time. It is St. Patrick's Day today, so I wanted to end with a couple Irish sayings
Irish sayings.
as a tribute to the Irish out there, because Irish were also one of the if you read Darwin's book, the Irish were the worst of humanity, and I just can't seem to believe that. But here's
Why
some
is that?
Irish.
Because they're so hard to control, eh? Is that the cause?
Yeah.
They're so hard to control that they drink too much, I guess. I'm not sure. But here's a couple Irish sayings for you. May you get all your wishes but one, so that you will always have something to strive for.
Nice.
There's one. The other one is, you've got to do your own growing, no matter how tall your grandfather was.
Yeah.
And the last one I've got for you is, may your home always be too small to hold all your friends.
You're right.
Nice one.
Nice.
Nice one. Love those two.
That's why most of the homes in Mexico are outdoors, so we can hold all the friends. All the friends.
Yeah.
And if we need to, we borrow the chairs from next door,
Oh yeah.
as it's happening right now out there in Casa Rustica, where the singing, chanting workshop is going on.
Lovely.
Thank you for reminding us of that. And greetings and blessings all to all Irish and each and everyone who
Happy St.
continues to be untamed and strives for freedom.
Yeah, freedom. That would mean.
Hoorah. So with that said, I guess we'll hit the
See you
exit
guys
button.
on Monday
Yes.
at 1 p.m.
We'll see you on Monday.
Thank you so much, everyone.